Christina died, what would your move be?
What would my move be?
Like, what would you do?
Enjoy my life. I don't know. Like, no. I mean, look.
Now I see why you guys wanted that question.
There would be tears, but you know, you got 2 kids. You gotta move forward.
The show must go on.
We're not gonna skip a podcast that week. You know, we're gonna fucking. Right. We're gonna do our stuff. We got things to do.
A guy like that, you need to be like, have you ever been with someone that doesn't have a gag reflex? Because it is remarkable.
You would not be doing this.
I remember this girl. It was Savannah, Georgia. It was 2002, and she let me touch the back of her throat with my fingers, and I was like, why are we using my fingers? And like that'll really it'll change your life.
So I have a question off of that. You do a podcast with your wife.
Yeah, she knows the story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that ever? I mean, it's a hilarious concept. I listen to it. It's like, it's great to watch 2 people who are married just be so open about everything.
She's the kind of wife that you can tell those stories to,
right?
And she's also a comic, so it's like,
right,
she knows how to roll with stuff too.
It's a very cool concept. And then obviously your other podcast with Bert has got to be a different type of energy.
I mean,
where has there ever been a time when you're just like, hey dude, like just chill out, like you're
can I talk, you mean?
Or that,
do I get to talk today? Yeah.
People really on planes will turn into fucking animals.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Will you put your seat back if it's just not a lay flat?
Yeah. Yes. There's a whole segment of the population that's like, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I don't
think
it.
you should.
I don't
really?
do it.
Yeah. Say they serve the meal, you finish relatively quickly.
Uh-huh.
Will you just drop it back, or will you give a peek back to see if they're done?
I wouldn't wait till they're done. I just try not to like knock everything over. I'm not, you know, I'm done.
Man, you'd be jamming me up if you did that.
Really?
He pushed this old guy forward. Who
I
didn't
felt
know
so
what
bad
hit
after,
him.
man.
It was right away. He went back, and he was, he had about 14 Bloody Marys in him, and he was just like, nope.
He fucking jammed it
He's
back.
like,
I did do this one time. Like I go boom, and I swear I'm not exaggerating. I heard like that, and I was like, I go like,
yeah, dude.
It was an old guy. He's like, my knee. I was like.
So we messed around, and you know, she wasn't that great. So, so the next day, I was talking to somebody else who was way better, and
that was fast.
and she was like standing by, and I just acted like I couldn't see her.
Oh my gosh!
And she just stood here, and I just kept going like, yeah. So
that's like an in-person ghosting.
yeah. Then I was like, why don't we go over here? And then we just like
walked right by her. Oh my gosh, that's some trauma for her.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know sometimes like how he's being. You have to be, like, I'll allow him to just overtalk me, and it just works. I'm like, I'm not bothered. But if there's someone else, I'd be like, you have to let them talk. I would pull him aside. He'd be like, oh really? Because he's so unaware of himself.
right.
Oh dude, last night I took him to dinner and with Primo, with DJ Premier and a bunch of people. And Bert was he had tied one on already. Like, we showed up, and I was like, how much have you had to drink? I think he finished like 4 bottles of wine to himself at dinner.
Jesus Christ.
We're just sitting around talking, shooting the shit, and he goes, hey, Primo? And I'm like, and he goes, I hope this isn't offensive. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, what are you going to say? And he goes, I just want to get something out before I black out. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
These are the worst qualifiers ever.
And I really, at this point, I'm like, well, you're already in. I don't know what you're about to do. And he just goes, it's just such an honor to have dinner with you. I'm like, that's what you fucking say before that?
That's perfect.
Like, yeah, he's out of his mind. Dude.
Yeah.
The first time I met Joey Diaz, I went with Rogan to do gigs, and he was like, Joey's coming in. And Joey shows up at the hotel, and we're like, what's up? He's like, dog. Almost got arrested. And we're like, what? So he's on a flight, and the guy in front of him had leaned back during mealtime. First class.
That's crazy.
And Joey pushed it forward. And so the guy did it again, and Joey pushed it forward. He was like, hey, my meal is coming on my lap, you know? And so the guy doesn't move forward. Joey stands up, and goes over to talk to the guy. And when the guy tries to like move, he
Pushed him down.
He goes, "You don't want to do that." And he goes, when we landed, we landed at the airport in Columbus. On the jet bridge was Columbus PD. And they were like,
Jesus.
And he goes, "I knew I was in trouble because they said, 'Are you Jose Diaz?' They only call me my mother, and the cops call me Jose. Everybody calls me Joey." And they were like, "What'd you do?" He goes, "I just told him, fuck the guy, told him the guy put my fucking veal parmesan's gonna be on my lap." And they were like, "Okay." And they just kind of like,
If anybody
dude.
can talk themselves out of trouble, it's Joey Diaz.
I'm with Uncle Joey on that one. Yeah.
Another time, I was at a bar in LA, and it was dark. It was like a cool vibe, and this girl approached me and was very forward and like flirty and asked for my number. So I was like, "Yeah." I gave her my number. She called me the next day and was like, "You want to do something this Friday?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go to pick her up, and I was like, "Damn, it was dark in that bar." Like, it's not. This is wild. So I'm trying to do the exit strategy. So I just kind of like, I drive and I just kind of shut down. Like I just turned into an Uber driver. I was like, you want me to turn it up?
Blast the music so she can't speak.
Yeah, I was like, the voice is the best part about you, and it's not great. So
Dang.
and then I take her back to her place, and I was like, well, at least I got here. The whole thing was like, just get back to dropping her off.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Do you want to come up?" I was like, "Nope." And then hard no. And then she leaned in to kiss, and I gave her my cheek.
Oh.
But that's not misleading. That's a very clear message. And then
No, that's a direct, I'm not interested.
yeah, exactly. Which I wanted her to know.
Right.
So I did that, and then I was like, you don't owe me for gas. Just get the fuck out. So
I remember one time I was in New York and I hooked up with one of my sister's friends. I was hammered. And the next day, I remember my sister was like, "Did you hook up with my friend?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "How was she?" I was like, "What?"
she asked
Yeah.
that. How was she?
Yeah. I was like, "What?"
That's an interesting question.
I know. I was like, I go, "Yeah, she was good, but I was just fucking shit-faced, And she's like, "Does she give good head?" I was like, "Oh my God."
This is your sister asking?
Yeah. I was like, I didn't really think about that. I don't know.
Will you bring anything on the plane with you? Any food?
Will you like get a burger at Shake Shack and get on the plane?
No, I think
Thing
that's
lasagna?
Criminal. Criminal.
It's because of the smells,
Yes.
man. And then some people, these fucking non-Americans, they bring the shit they made at home, and it's like, get with the program, Make a fucking Caesar salad or something, but don't bring this muckluck bullshit that you fucking make back in the old country on the flight. The whole fucking thing stinks.
Great.
If you got
stinks.
Tupperware with a whole Bronzino in there.
Yeah, I think they should take away your citizenship if you bring some stuff from
Easy
the old
done.
country. No, there's
I'm not in that Range Rover just yet. Okay?
there's some really foul shit on there.
What does make it great for you when you go on a date?
Man, I mean, it's almost like saying, like, how do you describe what great chemistry is? A great date is like you forget how much time has gone by, right? You're just lost in conversation. That's great chemistry. I want to keep talking to you,
But what if the girl is like a 10 out of 10 smoke show, but you have no chemistry?
That question is a great one. And the answer is, how old are you when this happens? Because at 21, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to take this 10 out of 10 all over the world until the fucking brakes fall off. I just don't care. At my 44-year-old ass right now, I'd be like, there is not a chance in hell. I don't care. Because you being super hot is not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. It's not enough for a relationship. Sure, like I'll split your ham for a night, but I am not going to embark on a journey with you.
And we started talking about literature. So she's like, "Oh, have you read this other book?" And I go, "No, I'm super interested though." And she was like, "Oh, I have it." And I was like, "Great. Can I read it?" She goes, "No, she's like, I'm traveling with it, but it's like my prized possession." And I was like, "I'll send it back to you, I promise." And she was like, no, I don't feel comfortable. And then I insisted. I was like, get it. She's like, okay. We go up to her room and she gets the book. I can't believe she travels with the book. It's like her favorite book. Yeah. It's like her teddy bear or something is this fucking book. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm thinking that this might be my way in to hook up, you know? So I was like, yeah, I can't wait to read it. And she was like, she goes, I would really be devastated if you didn't send it back. And I go, I'll definitely send it back. And I look at her and her eyes are welling up.
Oh my God. I wouldn't even be able to take it.
I was like,
Go.
Okay.
You're so committed. You got to take it.
I know. Now I have to take it. And also, I'm also realizing that she does not feel it for me. Like, it's taken me all this time.
She's got the feeling for the book.
Yeah. And she hands it to me and I can see tears in her eyes. And I'm like, I can't wait to read this. and then she's like, cool. And she's like shoves me out the door. She's like, boom, shuts the door. So now I'm like, I don't get to hook up with her, the girl I like. And then I have this book and now I feel the weight of the responsibility. I'm like, I gotta fucking send this to her. So I go home, I read this fucking book over the next few days. I go to the post office, ship it. And I think I put a little note in there too, you know, saying thank you. And then like a week later, it comes back. Wrong address.
No.
Yeah. And then I just kept the book.
You got to find that girl on Facebook and send her the copy of that book.
Mine now. She gave me the wrong address, man.
God, I saw a lady last night with the craziest tits. They were such outrageous tits. Mm-hmm. Like, she was hot and they were enormous. Part of you just wants to go like, hey, why don't you just take a moment in the room and just go, hey, everybody, get used to them.
Yeah.
Like, why are we going to pretend like we're gazing past you?
Right, yeah.
Like, I kept having to pretend. I was like, what's that noise over there? I wasn't looking at a fucking noise.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your crazy tits. Your tits are insane.
Yeah, is that an owl?
Yeah, and then guys are like talking to me about other things. I go, we're going to talk about her tits first. Like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, what do you think we're going to like gloss over this? Like, her tits are out. She has huge tits that are out in the room.
Yeah, it is weird not to just bring it up. It's like when someone's in a wheelchair and they try to pretend they're not in a wheelchair.
Oh my God, please. Like, and tell me some shit. How do you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to know.
Or like almost hit my head on that door frame. It's like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of lines about what it's like. I'm going to tell you shit. Like, I'm going to be like, hey, let's race. Like, let's have a little fun with this.
Let's fucking get weird.
Yeah. She comes to my stand-up show. Her and her boyfriend come. And I go, I'm just, you know, I'll see you at class on Wednesday or whatever. Months later, I'm in this play. And so one night she comes to watch the play alone.
She still has a boyfriend, Tom.
No, it's better than you think, actually. Afterwards, she's like, what are you doing now that the play is over? And I was like, I'm just going to go back. And she was like, do you want to like hang out or something? And I was like, nah. And by the way, wait, let me tell you something. Gorgeous. Like, gorgeous girl. And I thought she was great, but I was like, no, because what am I going to hang out with you and with your boyfriend? Like, I don't want to hang out with you guys. Like, I didn't find them to be the most inspiring couple. I'm just like, no. So then I go, and I just remember that it was after the play, and I was so hungry. And I went and I got like a double bacon cheeseburger, and I'm in my apartment just like housing this thing. And I'm like, oh. And then she calls me, and I'm like, hello. And she's like, can I ask you something? And I go, yeah. And she's like, yeah. She's like, why didn't you want to come over? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just hungry. Right? I didn't know it. I was like, I'm hungry. So she calls me 2 weeks later and she's like, I got to tell you, this has just been sitting with me. She goes, do you not find me attractive? And I go, no, of course I find, like, she's a beautiful girl. I go, you're gorgeous. And she's like, so I go to your play and then I ask you to come hang out. And then you just wanted to eat a burger instead of spending time with me? And I go, well, you know, you have a boyfriend. And she's like, we broke up a while ago. And she goes, I was offering myself to you. And I was like, what? And then she used that expression, I was offering myself to you. And I go, I did not know that. I go, that was not clear. And I will come over right fucking now. And I did. I went over to her place. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was young. I was very young.
Oh, God. I remember one time I was messing around with a girl after school in my bedroom. This is my junior year of high school. And there was the door chime. You know, you could set the alarm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well, it was off. So I turned it on so that I would have a heads up. My mom comes home. The chime goes off. I pop up off the girl, throw on like sweat shorts and a t-shirt. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And she was like, the chime's on? I was like, yeah. She was like, why? And I was like, just safety, you know? And, safety? And then she goes, she goes, you have stains on your shorts. And I was like leaking.
That pre-cum again.
Pre-cum. And I go, what? And she goes, there's only one way to get stains like that on your shorts. And I was like, yeah, pee. I just peed. This is dribble. Jesus. I mean, I was totally lying. And she just gave me like the death look.
Yeah.
Walked away and I was like, God. And then, yeah, just fucking intense blue balls again.
It's
the worst.
Oh.
It's the worst.
I fucked up a number of things. I mean, just like being newer and forgetting who I'm going to bring up next.
Right.
And I remembered that I think his name was, I already forgot again. I think his name was Peter Berman.
Right.
And just in those moments when you're just nervous, I go, give it up for Mr. Berman. And he got on stage and lit my ass up. He's like, what am I, your fucking math teacher? Like, he fucking lit me up, dude. And I was
because you could only remember a surname.
I guess and I go, put your hands
Berman's
together.
too familiar. Just
Mr. Berman. Like,
because it also makes it seem like he's going to do a character.
oh, you know what I mean, it's the worst way you can introduce somebody. And he walked on stage. He was like, what the fuck? I didn't know him. That makes it, you know. Yeah. He's like, are you trying to bust my balls? Like, Bert also, he takes it to like he goes, okay, when you fly private, you take a picture on the jet. That's what people take. People get on private jets. You take a fucking picture, okay? Because most people have this thing if they're like, if you're on a you go, don't fucking
Right.
Which I'd be like, yeah, I get that, right? Because it seems like it's a little fucking much.
It's because that is something that you can even be well off and you're not flying private. You know what I mean? That's like, we're talking 1% of people who have ever lived. So
but
flaunting that on
he's
Instagram.
like, I take videos and I take pictures because it's a fucking private jet.
I love that your voice from Bert is the same as your kid when you're doing his voice on stage.
Ellis is still we're doing it. Elis is like, Dad.
Whoa. It's not that bad. Oh.
That woke you up?
Yeah. It's like a little jolt of coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is this? How many volts?
Not that many.
It's really low.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see if it's bad or not, tase Ethan.
I would let Tom tase me.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to get tased by Tom Segura? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Would you tase him?
You tase him?
I mean, if you're
Come on,
you want
Ethan.
that to happen?
I'll do it for sure.
Wow.
All right. Just so we know, like something it's not on. We're gonna do something like this. Okay. Okay. You ready?
Yeah. You sure?
All right. Was that? It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah. It's not.
It's like one of those like gum shocking things, but just times 100.
He goes into cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Times 100.
Are you a little power hungry now?
A little bit,
Right? It feels good.
Yeah. I want more volunteers.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah, there's times where I get super sad.
Yeah.
I get lonely on tour. It's I have kids, and I think they're a little bit older than yours, but they're you miss them. And
when I came back from Australia, my son was like, my older son, big, like run and jump into my arms and stuff. And there was a selfish part of me that thought, I should go away more.
Yeah.
Because I love that moment.
Yeah, that
you know?
moment's great.
So if he's misbehaving at the minute, I'm like, I'm going to go away.
I'm going away. And if you tell them that, it can really leave an impact. If you're like, if you misbehave, I'll leave again. Yeah. Who knows if I'll come back that time? Yeah. When I got Tarantino, people were like, "Oh, was that intimidating?" I was like, "No," because like I love his movies,
genuine, so it's gonna be real.
They've done enough Today Show interviews where it's just like we're here with, where like they don't
Tell
do
me
it.
about
I just did Good Morning America.
Did you really? That's fucking funny.
Yeah. Look, they're so nice.
Who is it these days?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
It's like, is it Strahan or
They're
something?
so
Like,
nice and they're so welcoming. It's nothing to do with that. I'm just so used to long form conversation that it actually feels jarring to me.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you do the pre-produced segment and then they're like, all right, and when you get out there, we're gonna ask you this. And you're like, all right. And then it starts and as you answer, they're like, another thing, and you're like, oh, I thought we were gonna, And they're actually just good people, and they're so wholesome,
oh, that's the other thing is like, we're just warped in the brain. By now. It's just like I can't.
Yeah, the guy goes, you must have missed your kids on this tour, and I go, I abandoned them. And he was like, oh, what?
Oh, tell me about that. How does that work?
He was like, let's move this on. Like,
You said that on Good Morning.
Oh, yeah. I also said, he was like, Brad Pitt came to your show. And I was like, yeah. And I go, he said, funny guys get a kiss. And he gave me a kiss. And he was like, we'll be right back. Like, funny guys get a kiss?
Funny guys get a kiss. If that's not the name of the next tour, I don't know. I mean, that is fucking. Name the special that or something. Funny guys get it.